Hello and welcome to WTNB Today. I'm your host, Wendy Benton. Thank you for joining me. I have in the studio today Stephanie Austin. She is with Tenova Healthcare of Cleveland, and Charlie Haddock. He is the director of the Heart Walk for the American Heart Association. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Well, and you're here to talk about the 2016 Scott Hicks Memorial Heart Walk that's coming up June 4th.
Right.
And which will be, I know, a great day for you all, raising a lot of money. Charlie, tell us more about the Heart Walk. And I know it's a nationwide fundraising that you do, but explain to our audience what it is and why we do it here in Bradley
Absolutely.
County.
So yeah, it is a nationwide movement. Heart Walk is the largest fundraising arm of the American Heart Association. We have just over 300 events last year. Nationally raised about $117 million. And so with Cleveland coming up, like you said, it is June 4th. It is at the Greenway at Raider Drive. We get to utilize the new pavilion this year and stage area that they just recently built. And so the walk itself is about 2 miles or so. It should take you about 45 minutes to complete. It starts at 8:30. We'll have some great events, kind of like a festival atmosphere at the beginning. Tenova will be there with several different areas and activations where you can go and get your blood pressure checked and other areas of health that you need to know. And then the walk will get started about 9:30.
And now, can you pre-register for the
Sure,
walk?
you can absolutely do that. Everything is online, and so it's clevelandheartwalk.conterra.org, and so you can go on there. You can create teams in your church or civic group or neighborhood, and fundraise money. If you get to $100, you do get a T-shirt.
That's right.
And so that's very exciting. There is no registration fee, and so we encourage everyone to get to that $100 mark so you can get the T-shirt to remember it. But it's a great event, and it should be really great this year.
Well, and you mentioned too that most of the money stays in the community.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows
Exactly.
between year, but last year we were right around about 90 cents per every dollar stayed in the local area. You can see it. I mean, if your child's in a Bradley County school, they're experiencing our free funding with Jump Rope for Heart. That's the easiest way to see it. The guidelines that Tenova is involved with, that's money that is significantly discounted that they pay for, but it's still
Fit-friendly companies.
Fit-friendly companies.
Education.
Yes.
It's and then we're training people. Tennessee is one of the handful of states with every graduating senior has to learn hands-only CPR, and so Tennessee was one of the first states to sign on to do that. But it's great that we just have all those warriors out there. If someone were to have an episode, they could prevent it and do CPR until EMS arrives.
Right. And you had mentioned too that heart disease is the #1 cause of death.
It is. Unfortunately, it has been the #1 cause of death for over 90 years. And here's your trivia question for the day. The one instance, it was back in I believe 1918, but Spanish flu was the only thing that has surpassed heart disease as the #1 cause of death. There was a big epidemic that year. But we are on track this year. Heart disease has been steadily declining, specifically over the past 10 years. And so we're very hopeful that this year we could go to #2, which would be very exciting to be #2 in something.
Yes.
But like I said,
drop that number down.
And 80% of it is preventable. And so that's one of the things people are getting more aware with education, the research that we're funding regionally. I mean, there's several incredible research facilities within about 100 miles of Cleveland just groundbreaking research that's happening. And so it's very encouraging to be alive right now and to see, we're some of the research that's taking place, the changes, education, advocacy. They just released new guidelines for nutrition facts to show the added sugars. And so you can see the natural sugars occurring, but then also the added sugars. And so that should take place by the end of the year. But it's part of funding that the American Heart Association helped advocate for. So.
Well, and getting those numbers to drop is, I guess you want people to be more educated.
Correct.
And understanding what causes heart disease. And I know that's where Tenova comes in.
It
Stephanie,
is.
you all have really jumped on board with this.
This has been something very special to Coleman. It's been an initiative. He's always believed that you need to take healthcare out of the four walls of the hospital so that people can learn how to better manage their conditions. But as Charlie stated, this is 80% preventable. And it's just a matter of trying to get the information out to the consumers on how to live a healthier lifestyle. And there's ways you can do it. We, at one event, had little playing cards where you could just start playing with your family, just different activities you could do just to introduce walking into the family, or different fun type of things you can do to start changing that lifestyle to be an active lifestyle, and learning how to gradually change your diet so that it's a better diet. And so for us, one of the things we really try to get out there is the necessity to be established with your physician and truly know what your baseline is. It's always good to have a true relationship with your primary care physician so that they can help monitor if any changes are coming about, anything that they do need to look at and be focused on and address. So it really is helpful for people to be proactive in their healthcare, to know what their own numbers are, not only how to live a healthier lifestyle, but know where they are in their own health.
Right, and you all have a wonderful cardiology department.
Correct. We're very fortunate. Cleveland has so many amazing primary care physicians, and we are fortunate to have cardiology in that cardiologist in the area as well. We just recently brought on a new interventional cardiologist, Dr. Hadi Leisha, who joined Dr. Selwyn Abraham, and so with Tenova Cardiology. But you know, one of the things you can do if you're looking for a primary care physician or cardiologist, you can go to tenova.com and click on Find a Physician, and that can help guide you into an area if you're not established with someone. But we're very, very fortunate in Cleveland to have a lot of excellent physicians available.
Yes, and then the Scott Hicks Memorial Heart Walk, this is the third year.
Correct.
For that, and doing it in honor of Scott.
We are. I mean, and Charlie, you mentioned our theme is Life is Why. I know personally I walk because my father suffers from heart disease, and that has impacted our family for years. I really think you can find many of your neighbors, someone you know has been impacted by heart disease. And I think for our community, Scott impacted many of our lives, and so it made sense to us to go to his father and his wife and talk to them about honoring him, because he did so much for the community, and we wanted to honor his memory.
Well, and I know that the family was appreciative, and this was something that would mean a lot to him, and getting people out there, making it more personal.
Yes.
For our community specifically.
Right.
And you just want people to come out, I know, in droves just in support of the Heart Walk.
Well, and to tie in with getting up and moving. And it really is just a great, fun event. It's Saturday morning, June the 4th, and we have a blast every time we do it. We have volunteers from all over, and it's grown every year. There were so many people last year, and we're really looking forward to this year as well. We're hearing such great response, and people really excited about participating in the Heart Walk.
Well, and it doesn't take a lot to lead a healthier lifestyle. You don't have to just stop eating completely or work out for an hour a day every day. Most people think, you know, extreme when they think getting into shape, but it's not like that at all.
No, and that's what Heart Walk promotes. It's Heart Walk. It's not heart marathon or heart Ironman. Walking. It's something we do every day. We just take 30 minutes and go for a walk, or if your employer would allow you to do a walking meeting, that's something we've tried to start doing a lot more on our end. Or if you have a conference call, I mean, go outside, especially as the weather's warming up, and walk around the block while you're talking. It's amazing. The fresh air will do for you.
That's right.
The vitamin D and get some steps into it. But like I said, Heart Walk, it's a celebration. We have a lot of survivors there. There's a great survivor ceremony where if you're a heart survivor, you get a nice red hat. Stroke survivors get a white hat. And so it's a great opportunity to recognize them, because, I mean, they're walking inspirations and miracles.
Yes.
And just a testament to their research. I mean, in the 90s, the stent was invented, and now you can have a stent and go back to work on Monday. It's incredible.
Amazing. It is.
Wow.
And I was just going to add to that, we have a program, a cardiac rehab program that has been here for many, many years. And Scott's father, Mr. Sonny Hicks, is a participant in that. And they love this event. They have taken such ownership in this event because, again, they understand the benefit of the lifestyle. And through the different programs that the American Heart Association is doing, even through the schools, we're hoping to educate the younger generation to help us learn to be healthier and change our own lifestyles to help benefit the younger generations, our children and their children.
Right. Well, and we want everyone to come out June 4th. Register online, register ahead of time,
Right.
And you said that's free registration?
Yes, there's no entry fee, no participation fee. Events couldn't happen without fundraising, and so we do encourage you to try to get to that $100 mark so you can get a T-shirt. If not, you can turn in donations at the event. There is a donation area. There's a couple other things you can donate and get kind of a goodie with it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's there's some great prizes too. So some of the top fundraisers last year. I mean, there's some really cool stuff that you can win as well.
That's nice. Now, can you donate online?
Yes.
Okay.
Same website. It's clevelandheartwalk.conterra.org. So you can register there. You can donate if you don't really know what team you want to be on. Tenova's got several teams you can register under the hospital. You don't have to actually work for the hospital. Like I said, you can get your church involved, start a team. If you just don't, if you just want to be by
families
yourself.
have done a team on behalf of that individual
Absolutely.
member. And you also do Facebook, social media fundraising too, so you can go online and see on the website how to do that as well. And that's just reaching out to your Facebook, social media friends.
Right. Now, do you have any companies in town that have a team as well?
Yeah, there's several that have participated. Jackson Furniture is great this year. They're forming teams, and they're also sponsored. Lee University is participating. So there's lots of people in town that are getting excited about it.
Well, and we want to encourage everyone to go register today, get your team formed, and start raising money and for this great cause. And again, we want heart disease to fall to number 2 at least,
or even further.
Yes, I mean to be number 1 for over 90 years, isn't that right?
Okay,
I keep reading it, and I'm like that is unbelievable.
Right. And our other arm is stroke. We're also the American Stroke Association. That's the number 5 cause of death.
Wow.
And so it's every 40 seconds somebody has a stroke. So we've been on the air a decent time now, and so you just do that math in your head. It's staggering when you think about it.
Right.
And I think the more we can educate individuals on what the signs and symptoms are, to call 911, do not risk your life or somebody else's life trying to drive yourself somewhere. And I'll just speak on behalf of women. We can tend to find a reason why we're feeling that way versus really take the symptoms serious. And there are different symptoms for women than men in a heart attack.
And you can learn those at the Heart Walk. We'll have where you can learn this warning signs of a stroke, the heart attacks, but like Stephanie was saying with women, how they're different. And nobody's going to laugh at you if you go to the hospital thinking that you could be having a heart attack. It's very serious, and that's 100% always be safe than sorry.
Right, and I know with a stroke there's an acronym that you can for facial.
There you go.
Yes.
It's FAST is the acronym.
That's right.
It was invented in Europe, and the Heart Association just brought it over. I guess the early 2000s, but it's F for face drooping. So one side of your face could droop a little bit. A is arm weakness, and that's really kind of any side of your body. So you could have some leg weakness. Basically, if you can hold your arms up and one droops a little bit, definitely a sign. So FAS is speech, and so if you start slurring your speech, you're kind of just talking, mumbling or gibberish, or people don't really understand you, that's definitely one. And then T is time to call 911.
That's right.
And so if you see any of those sudden onset of symptoms, time to call 911. Just as heart attack, stroke is even more important to get to the hospital as quickly as you can, so we can get the post-stroke drug administered to help declot the brain.
Yes, yes. I had an uncle that went through that. And anyway, it's just getting there quickly is key.
Yes, exactly.
And it is the number 1 disabler. So it's not as many people die from strokes, but it's definitely one that if you experience it, your lifestyle generally radically changes.
Right.
So it's But like you said, knowing the warning signs is
That's
very
right.
important in getting to the hospital.
Yes. Well,
Fast.
and fast, FAST.
Yes.
Well, and we want to make sure that we're supporting this cause, and again, just to get it out of that #1 spot,
Yes.
and education is key. So thank you both for being with me
Thank
today.
you.
It
It's been
was
great.
great information, and I know it's going to be very successful. June 4th, 8:30. Please go to the website to register, or registration begins that morning at 8:30 and the walk at 9:30. So you don't want to miss it. June 4th on the Greenway. Thank you again, and thank you for being with us, and we will see you next time on WTNB Today.